Hey everybody, how are you guys doing today? AMC Bigums here. Hope everyone's having a good night. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on some information that I learned about the upcoming Phase 5. If you guys don't know, Phase 5 starts on September 1st. What Phase 5 is, it's a brand new margin requirement for over-the-counter derivatives. Basically what this means is it's going to affect ISDA members. ISDA is the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, in case you guys don't know. But basically, all it is it's just another off-exchange market for the super, super rich. Um, Currently, right now, worldwide, there's only 925 members. ISDA is just another way that they can control the market basically off-exchange. And what I mean by that is hopefully you've taken the time here to read that ISDA Master Agreement. But ISDA derivatives run off what we call an ISDA Master Agreement instead of exchanges. An ISDA agreement is a very flexible contract between two ISDA members to complete a trade. This agreement is what is used to govern over-the-counter transactions instead of any exchange that reports to SIBO. The two parties in the agreement clear the collateral attached to the trade with what is called a credit support annex. So basically what this is, it's just a off-exchange written agreement on terms whatever two super rich guys come upon, and obviously it's extremely, extremely flexible. One of the main things that we learned about these is they use these for what is called over-the-counter flex options. Over-the-counter flex options are 100% flexible. They can use these for styles in which they can execute the option, strike price, and we also learned that they can use them for expiration dates. And if you look up here, they actually can pull this up a little bit. Expiration date is actually up to 15 years from the trade date. So let's pull up the overstock. Right here is the overstock lawsuit. Now, pull that over a little bit, sorry. Alright, so what we learned here is you got flex options, buy rights, and married puts. If you haven't watched me and Randall Cornett actually put out a video, I know it's extremely long, but it's very informative. It's an hour long, but you will learn a lot watching that video. But basically, I'll do a quick rundown here. I'm just going to read this bottom part here. There's the appearance of delivery of the purchased shares back to the other market maker, who had never delivered them in the first place. In the end, Hassan would reestablish his previous short position, still naked, while succeeding in having regulation show a 13-day delivery clock in the clearing firm's eyes reset to day one. As settlement date approached again and again, Hassan would repeat this process until the options on the original reverse conversion trade expired or were assigned, thus finally closing out the short position and eliminating the synthetic long position that the short position had hedged. Now, basically what that is saying is they were able to take FTDs and show what we call sham reset transactions, what they're talking about here, which would give the appearance that these were being covered when they were never covered and they were never sent in the first place. So they could also do these with short positions. So basically what you do is you would write one of these, or you would take out some shorts, write one of these flex options, and they do the same thing. But you would give the appearance that you have the shares there. And the reason that they're allowed to do all this is because they're bona fide market makers. And what this means is they don't have to locate a share before they fill an order. So they can fill orders without actually having the shares present. Now, the reason we even know about any of this is it turns out this guy actually wasn't a bona fide market maker, and he was using that ability to get away with this, and they ended up catching him since he wasn't actually a bona fide market maker. So let's look at the phase charts here coming up. Okay, so these flex options. As you can currently see, when we write a flex option, let me pull that over. If we write a flex option, it currently goes to a broker, to SIBO Exchange, and then to the OCC, which is backed by the government. But if you look at how they do it, this is the person that writes the contract. This is the person who buys the contract. Since they both do the clearing, you don't need to send a SIBO anymore. It now goes through ISDA to be posted, and ISDA posts the trade, and it is no longer backed by the government or the OCC, obviously, because it's backed by the two parties. Now, if you look at the chart, this is the phases chart right now. So currently, you don't have to have any margin requirements unless you are under 750 billion, which currently only affects 19 people, which is obviously the biggest banks you could find, which is very interesting because if you go to the DTCC report that was just released here on the 13th, it shows that they are removing BNP Paribas and State Street Bank. BNP Paribas is the #1 bank in France. And if you look at our last video, a lot of these flex options are coming out of Europe. And if you pull this up here, they're actually charged with what I was talking about before. So with those flex options, as you can see, they were charged with violation of regulation show. They were writing down 35 occasions over a 4-month period. So they were basically writing over a 4-month period these flex options with another person to pretend that they were shorting and filling these shares, and they got caught. State Street, basically, they were taking clients' orders. They were doing the same thing, and then they ended up taking clients' orders and basically using those clients' orders once they got caught with the other things to cover the flex option shares, and it was over, I think it was like 8 million shares, somewhere in here. It was like 8 million shares, but it was like 170 million dollars worth, and it's just like, it's insane. But as you can see, they are no longer going to be backed by the DTCC because they're doing all this shady stuff. But now let's go back to this. So currently, right now on September 1st, it's going to go down to 50 billion, which you can see affects 314 different people. Basically, you're no longer just going after the big banks. You're going after all banks at this point, and you're going after the biggest market makers and maybe the biggest hedge funds, but you're not going after like the middle class. Right now, there's 925, as I said before, so you're about 90% that they're actually going to be taking into effect come September 22nd. You see it goes down to about 8 billion. So they're actually, I mean, they're putting things into place. But as you can see right now in the derivatives market, there's currently 16.8 trillion in over-the-counter derivatives. And if they were basically to go after all these people at once, I think it would crash the entire U.S. economy because it's just so out of control back there. But right now, you're going to slowly be seeing over the next couple months, I would say, more and more of these people coming off the DTCC. I just don't think they're going to keep backing these people once they find out more and more about these flex options. But let's see, let's go back down here. So Citadel currently is at 67 billion in over-the-counter derivatives. So as of the 1st, you see that they're now going to be affected, which means it's going to be huge for us because currently, as you could see before in this, you have the two parties that clear the trade, and it's like 100% like, oh, we have to trust him. He says he's got this and he's got this. They're market makers, so they got him. Well, what's going to happen now is a third party will be introduced right here, and they're going to make sure that, as you can see before in the lawsuit, Hassan was just saying that he got these shares. The bank that he was working with said that they sent him the shares with nothing even exchanged on either one of their systems. Well, the third party is going to make sure that, hey, do you really have those shares, that person writing these contracts? And B, are these people buying them, are they really receiving shares? Because if they're not, this third party is not going to approve it because all three of them will now be liable on top of these contracts instead of just the two. On top of that, another thing that's massive is that third party now will take a deposit for those derivatives. So if they're going to open contracts up, as you can see, it was a 250,000 deposit. So now they're going to have less and less ammo to continuously take out these short positions and less liquidity to continuously fight us and continuously push these cans down, the can down the road. And along with these FTDs, this should start closing that loophole where every time we think, hey, there should have a whole bunch of FTDs, where are they? And suddenly they don't come anywhere, or they're just suddenly covered, and or Ortex is updating short interest. Hey, by the way, this is suddenly 10 million off. It's insane, but by September 2022, 770 of these members should be affected by this new guideline. And basically, I think by then the over-the-counter derivative market should be completely fixed. And this is one of the main problems in the entire stock market, because as you see, they don't have to report. They're able to just use the same collateral over and over and over again. Basically, they're able to run rampant, and nobody's really checking on them. They could have, I mean, for all we know, they could have just stacks of these flex options opened up somewhere. And they're, I mean, it's not illegal is the problem, because they're bona fide market makers. So nobody's going to say, oh, they're doing this in previous things, because it's not illegal for them to do this. But I hope you guys have learned a lot. Thank you for watching. If you liked and enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Thank you guys and have a good night.